I just got off a call with my UAE accountant that I trust because she basically leans on doing everything right. There's a lot of accountants in the UAE that don't really care, and they tell you, look, UAE is still tax-free. You can send all the money you want. If you don't want to send it to a company, just send it to your personal account, send cash, send crypto, whatever. But in reality, the UAE is now adopting a European style of accounting. And if you know anything about European style of accounting, I'm currently in Poland and I've been studying European tax for a long time, even though I'm not a tax expert or a professional or anything like that. I do study it for personal reasons because I want to live part-time in Poland and I have a Polish company, and I studied the accounting system in all of Europe just to understand the laws and invoices and all of this, because I'm not used to that coming from the US and then transitioning over to Dubai back in 2020, 2021, when nothing really mattered. Now it matters. Essentially, what you need to know is that the money that goes to your UAE company, you cannot just simply expense it out. You cannot just simply, oh, let me buy a Lamborghini. Oh, let me send some money to this guy. Oh, let me take a bunch of money in cash and then send it somewhere else. The Federal Tax Authority, the FTA, is going to expect invoices in and out. They're going to expect proof of those transactions. They're going to, if you pass a threshold, they're going to expect you to pay VAT as well. They're going to expect you to pay the 9% corporate tax on over 100,000 US dollars in profit as well. So if you we're thinking that the UAE, because that's how it used to be before in 2020, 2021. After 2023, I made a lot of videos explaining, look, the UAE is changing. Now we need to pay taxes. Even free zone companies need to pay taxes. And a lot of people are still telling you, oh, just go live tax-free in the UAE. And if you have a company in the UAE, yeah, that's going to pay 9% tax, but just expense it all out as personal income. So for example, if your UAE company is making 5 million a year and you're the owner and you see the tax rates in the UAE and you think, okay, I don't want to pay the 9% tax on the 5 million, so I'm just going to pay myself out a salary as personal income, and then personal income isn't taxed in the UAE, therefore I'm not going to pay taxes on that. Well, the problem is that now the FTA sees that as you kind of cleaning money laundering essentially, from your company to your personal account in order to not pay taxes, and now they will fine you and they will charge you the tax on that salary that you send to yourself. If it's a huge salary, for example, if you have 5 million in profit in your company and then you send yourself 4 million, as kind of an owner's expense or as a salary, that's not realistic, because somebody in your position at another company would be making $75,000 a year, $100,000 a year, not 4 million. So they essentially will see that as evading tax illegally, and they're going to charge you the 9% tax. They also might charge you penalties. They might charge you some sort of percentage. And the thing that a lot of people are not talking about is that now the FTA is a mess. The Federal Tax Authority currently is a complete mess. They don't know how to handle all this documentation. They don't know how to handle all these hundreds of thousands of companies that are incorporated in the UAE. But over time, they will know. After 5 years, for example, same like it happens in Europe, I've heard of many people that have Polish companies, they have Dutch companies, they have German companies. After 5 years, their tax authority comes and says, oh, those documents from 2018, can you please show us the invoices in and out? You spent 100,000 here, you spent 1 million here. Can you show the invoices? And they want to know for those many years back. The same thing is probably going to happen in the UAE. Now, the EU is bullying them. The US is bullying them. All these Western countries are bullying the UAE into having a strict accounting system, into having a strict invoicing system, into having stricter banking. And UAE banking is anyway strict, but they're going to even have more strictness into their banking, money going in and out, making sure that you're not using cash or crypto to launder any money. And obviously for AML purposes, they want to make sure that all the money is clean and it's going through the system properly. So you have to make sure to, one, report your expenses, report your income properly, report your revenue properly, get a good accountant. Don't just get some random accountant. If you want our contact for our accountant, she's a little bit on the protective side. She's like, hey, let's do extra things to make sure that you're protected long term. Let's do extra things to make sure you don't have any troubles in the future. So if you want to find somebody in the middle, feel free to, but careful with accountants that say, oh, don't worry about it. Because there's a lot of these services providers, a lot of these companies where you go, you open a free zone company and they're like, don't worry about it. Oh, the 9% tax, don't worry about it. After 2024, 9% tax will be charged. They will try to see if your invoices match as well. If you give false documentation, it's going to be treated as tax fraud as well. So please be careful with all of this. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, just don't open a company. Do everything in your personal name. So for example, if you earn income, just earn it to your personal account and then send a bunch of money to your personal account. The problem is that a person can also be considered a corporate entity if the amount of money is high enough. So let's say that you don't open a company, you get a golden visa in the UAE by buying property, and then you start sending yourself $1 million a month to your personal account because there's no personal income tax in the UAE. They will consider you a company. And now you will need to pay that 9% tax as a person, even though you don't have a company, because they're going to see you as a company because you're essentially doing that. You're earning income to your personal name to avoid paying the 9% tax because there's no personal income tax, but in reality, that's corporate income, that's services income, that is revenue that you're making in your personal name. Now, the exceptions to all of this is if you're making capital gains or you're trading crypto or you're making long-term investments, obviously those will not be taxed. So essentially, if you make money in crypto, you make money in Bitcoin, you make money in real estate, you make money flipping properties, you make money in any way that is considered a capital gain and not a business, that won't be taxed. And actual personal income, for example, you have a company that makes 10 million a year and that company pays 9% tax and is VAT registered and it's corporate tax registered, and you pay yourself out a salary of 150K a year, 200K a year plus bonuses, yeah, those won't be taxed because it's personal income. And if you sell the company, for example, that won't pay also taxes because it's for capital gains, and it won't pay any capital gains tax and no personal income tax and no investment tax and no inheritance taxes and no wealth taxes. But you need to be careful how you do this. Companies pay tax. Companies have a strict level of accounting, European level accounting. So you need to make sure that you have invoices going in and out. You need to make sure that you have a good accountant. You need to make sure that you keep track of all of your records over time, because over time, they're going to start checking people, especially if you have large amounts of revenue. They're going to start auditing people as well. And you can't treat the UAE as a tax-free haven anymore, unfortunately, unless you're only doing, for example, crypto taxes or capital gains, or you're only earning money through investments. In those cases, yeah, it's going to be a lot more straightforward. Now, obviously, for US citizens, this is a completely different deal. So if you're a US citizen, there's even more added complexity here. But just know that if you're moving to the UAE, you have to keep records. You have to do proper accounting. And the last thing I'm going to add in here is you might just say, oh, I'm just going to expense all the money out into the company in luxury goods and luxury things that I'm going to enjoy. So for example, I'm going to buy a villa and then I'm just going to enjoy that villa, or I'm going to buy multiple Maybachs or McLarens or Rolls Royce or whatever. Yeah, those have to be used for the company in order to be allowable to be deducted from the revenue and the profits. It works the same way as in the West. Now, the UAE is the same as the West. So if you buy a car, that car needs to be used for business purposes. If you buy a car for personal expenses and you buy it from the company, that's going to be charged 9% tax because it's a profit that you took from the company to then buy the car for yourself. So don't think of the UAE as a very simple tax system. I can do whatever I want. No, in terms of corporate revenue, income, if you're selling a course, whatever it is that you're doing where you're earning revenue directly or income from a client or from a company or from products or whatever, you just have to make sure it's the same system, it's the same expensing system, everything as in Western countries. If you're looking to move to Dubai and the UAE, you want to avoid a ton of mistakes that I made when I originally moved to the UAE and tons of people make when they move to the UAE and specifically Dubai. You want to check out the video right here. Avoid these mistakes so you can learn all about them and you don't make the same mistakes as I did. Check it out right here.